And crime and violence must stop.
Happy Friday to each and everyone, watching this video. Thanks for tuning back again to Nicardo Media House with another morning side extra video. No early video this morning, a little bit busy, to spend probably around 15 hours, in the hospital, with wifey. So you don't know, I'm here again, to pick up on what I supposed to, do this morning, turn it into a morning side extra. But the discussion is going, Kaim Dixon, tip to get some first team minutes again, and also, JPL in 5, also, Reggae Girlz preview, look ahead of that big game versus Mexico that's coming up, tomorrow, and also the other game that coming up in the midweek, the two-legged, but, the two international friendlies, in Kansas and in Houston. But look, we'll start off around with Kaim Dixon. Kaim Dixon missed Charlton Athletic U21, game that they played earlier today versus Sheffield, a game that, they drew that game, and, this is the 4th game in a row, Kaim Dixon is missing for the academy team, a team that he's getting his regular minutes, getting double digits goal, for the academy team, and he missed 2 games already because he got called up, for international duty. He missed a game already, the quarterfinals game versus Southampton, where they lost that game 5-4, and I think 5-4 on the day, because he was in the squad for Huddersfield Town. Now he's missed the game earlier today because he tipped to be in the squad and tipped to get some minutes in that team again. He didn't play away. I remember who they played away, but they played a game away. The team came back from 1-0 down to win 2-1. His team tomorrow, expect, will go on to play Lincoln tomorrow at home at the Valley, and Kaim Dixon, tipped to be amongst, the players that will get on the pitch. But when you played so many minutes in the academy, when you play less minutes in the senior team, it's always that joy, it's always that exposure, it's always that it's part of the development to get in around the first team. So now you have missed the last 4 U21 team for Charlton Athletic. They go winless in the last 4. This is the longest stretch they have been on since Kaim Dixon made his debut for the U21 team last year. So now Kaim Dixon missing for the U21s. They just cannot win a game. They drew today, so their last 4 games is 3 defeat and 1 draw, included a quarterfinal defeat in the Premier League Cup game when he was on duty for the senior team, for the game versus Huddersfield Town. Now, the reason, the big main reason for Kaim Dixon, for getting these opportunities in the first team, it's because they have 2 players that missing. Daniel Kanu is still out with a groin injury, and Miles LeBourne is out for the rest of the season. I would say the rest of the regular season, they will make a further assessment, when the team get into the playoff. But he's out for the remainder of the games in the regular season. Miles LeBourne, and he's out with a quad injury. So 2 attackers, 2 center forward, 2 players that played just as the same role that Kaim Dixon played, and this is how he's going to get his moment. And look, when you get this opportunity, you need to take it. And when you look at it, man, the game that he played, at the Valley, versus Huddersfield Town, he created moments for himself just by getting in dangerous position, getting on the ball, shoot, just running off the ball, so when he play, everyone know he give you that X factor, that wow feeling, so hopefully, as they said, he tipped to get some minutes tomorrow versus Lincoln. Let's see how that one goes, as the team can go on points with Wickham if results go their way, and they're still pushing for automatical promotion, promotion spot for championship football. That will be big for Kaim Dixon and Charlton Athletic for the upcoming 25-26 season. But moving on, the Reggae Girlz, set to face Mexico again. Yes, set to face Mexico, again, the 5th and I think the 8th, game coming up tomorrow in Kansas, and the other game is in Houston. And look, we have a bad head-to-head runnings versus Mexico. Yes, we have a bad head-to-head runnings. We have beaten Mexico only one time, I think, in the last 7-8 games. The only time we beat them was that game in Mexico, the crucial, one of the most important game in Reggae Girl history of getting in that next round of the World Cup qualifier, beating them. Yeah, so we could go on. I think we played, is it Costa Rica? I remember if is it Costa Rica, or we beat Mexico to advance to the World Cup in New Zealand, Australia. But yeah, that game that we beat them, it was a lone goal 1-0 when Khadija Bonisha scored from a Denisha Blackwood assist. But look, we have some crucial players that will missing. The prominent one, Khadija Bonisha, injured now for the last couple of weeks, for her club team, so she's not available, missing the last 3 games for City women team. Drew Spence will be that one that missing as well. That player, I think, played in the championship. I think it's a championship. Wilson, that girl that scored the corner kick on South Africa. I don't see her in the squad. And also players that, let's see, Seria A is missing, the Newcastle striker, she will be big miss, her pace and how she can get beyond, and stretch this Mexico backline. Drew Spence with her composure in that midfield, will be missing, so players will have to step up, Kayla McKenna will have to, fill in, in the Khadija Bonisha shoes again, try to get more goals. I know she did, in the Peru game. Wilson, I think we will miss her set piece. Set piece will be very, very crucial in this game, because we are much physical players than the Mexico women team, and we are much taller than them, so set piece will always be very set piece will always be very important against any Central American team or any Mexican team whenever it is the women or the men team playing other team in Central or Mexico team. But where I'm going to start, but important players going into this fixture, these sets of fixtures, our players that usually played and currently playing in the Liga MX, the women version, Kanya Ploma, Denisha Blackwood, for Pumas, Trudy Carter when she was there, so now she applied her trade in the Liga F, in the Spanish Primera Women League, in for Espanol, but she's on a little bit of farm, but in and out of the team because of injury, but those players will be will be important, what's her name, Tiffany Cameron, the Swaby sisters, all those players will be very, very important. But the players that have the pace, the players that have the engine, like a Tiffany, Denisha Blackwood, they will, to Jodie Brown, the speedy players, they will be very important as well. I think it's Cardoza, that's her name, Naya Cardoza, the left back, a little bit of pace, they will be very important in the game. But look, my starting lineup tomorrow will be Rebecca in the goal, the Swaby sister, Chantal, to play right back, Allison, to play a centre off with Kanya Plummer, and I will have Naya, play that left back, and also Vivian Sampson and Jade Bailey in that central department. And I would love Denisha Blackwood to continue out on that left hand side, and Tiffany Cameron need to start on that right wing because of her energy, her pace, the intensity that she played with can go up and down, on that right hand side. And I will go with Jodie Brown and Kayla McKenna up front, a big posing number 9, someone that can hold the ball, and then someone that can run around with pace, have a free license to go anywhere on the pitch, which will be Jodie Brown, and again can make a swap position during the game versus Tiffany Cameron, who have played as usual, playing in that position for her club team, for Real Betis. That will be my starting lineup. But look, the last time we played this Mexico team in 2022 in Mexico, this team have made a lot of stride. This team have gone on to win 2 tournaments. They won the Pan Am Games in Chile. They beat the host country Chile twice. In that game they beat us 7-0. They beat up a few South American teams in that I think it's the Americas. Is it the Americas? There's another tournament. I tell you, the Caribbean and Central games, they beat us in that game as well, 7-3. So they have beaten us twice after we knocked them out of the World Cup qualifier in Mexico. So this team, have improved a lot. this team have improved a lot over the last couple of years. You know, they have added some crucial pieces. You know, majority of the players that's currently in this squad at this moment is playing locally in the Liga MX. You know, so they are quality player. You know, it's a quality league. You know, in the CONCACAF region. You know, I think they just have 2 players in this squad that, you know, is not playing inside of the Liga MX. You know, so these players will have that team chemistry as they usually do. They will understand each other. They know each other. They, you know, they add some 1 and 2 pieces, but they have this player. I think her name is Alice Soto. You know, I don't remember if I've seen her in the squad, but if she's in that squad, I think she's in that squad, but will be a very dangerous prospect for the Reggae Girlz in that attacking department for the Mexican team. But with them played us the last time in 2022, they gone on to beat us, you know, 7-3, 7-0. That's 14-3 in the last 2 games. You know, the Pan American games, you know, the Central American and Caribbean games, and you know, they won both tournaments. And then when you look at it, you know, in the Gold Cup, a tournament that we missed out on, they went straight to the semi-final. You know, so this team is making a lot of stride. You know, this team is much more a better physical team than what we played in the last time. So this will be a very good test to the Reggae Girlz team. You know, this is why I'm kind of, you know, a little bit disappointed, but you know, it's in the game. It's you know, international duty. Players will get missed out, personal reason, you know, injury players, you know, so these stuff will happen. But I would just love to see our best squad going up against this tough Mexican team. You know, it will give us a lot of, you know, look, if we get a draw in both games, it will be, you know, a very good result for us. But for me, looking at, you know, Mexico and looking at us right now, you know, we just started our preparation back again, you know, for the World Cup qualifier later this year. Mexico been preparing since we beat them in that last World Cup qualifier game, and now they make a lot of stride. As I said, you know, they went to knockout rounds, they win tournaments, you know, they went to even the semi-final game that they played against Brazil in the Gold Cup. They lost that game 3-0, but they got a red card early in that game in the first 30 minutes, you know, so I think they were 1-0 down, but they were the better team before they got red card. They beat the US team in that Gold Cup as well at home and US side, you know, so this team show that, you know, it's a lot better team, and it's a more physical team. You know, the talented pool have grew up over the last couple of years. You know, they have been added to the coaching staff. You know, they're just adding quality pieces, you know, to this team. And look, Mexico, with them missing out on the last World Cup, they coming back with a bang, and look, they will have something to prove against this Reggae Girlz team coming up in that game tomorrow. But that's it, surrounded, you know, my takes on, you know, the Mexican women team, and also, you know, JPL 5. You know, look, paper crack, as I said, tomorrow will be a very big discussion with me and you guys. You understand? You guys will, you know, discuss it in the comment section, and I will discuss it right here on the mic. But JPL 5, you know, JPL 5, you know, Arnett Garden, you know, lost at home. No, Arnett Garden, you know, lost, you know, away at Effortville Community Center in Clarendon 3-1. You know, not surprised. You know, this team is unbeaten in their last 7 games. You know, Arnett Garden have been a little bit lapsed, you know, look a bit inconsistent. Been in the last couple of games, you know, played the last game very well, but when you look at it, the last time, you know, Arnett Garden, you know, lost to Umberland at home in Effortville Community Center in Clarendon, it was back in 2019 when Fabian would score that lone goal when we got 2-1. You know, Ranike Anderson and the man they call, you know, Deco, you know, I forgot his name, but the former Camperdown captain, you know, have scored that. Both Arnett Garden players scored a one goal. That was the last time we lost that game at Effortville Community Center. And you know, look, Tivoli, you know, drew 1-1. You know, Tivoli were leading that game. You know, they got a goal by Alton Lewis, you know, in the 44th minute, and you know, that's his second goal, you know, after rejoining Tivoli, you know, in the January transfer window. You know, he scored he scored on Cavalier in a 1-1 draw, you know, yesterday, and also he scored previously on Arborview in a 2-2 draw. And you know, look, Shaquille Stein got the equalizer goal late in, you know, close to the 90th minute, scored his 9th goal of the season. And you know, Cavalier is just 4 points away from the 7th position, which is Waterhouse, been dropping points in the last couple of games. Cavalier dropping points in the last couple of games. Cavalier just not looking their self. So yeah, big big point gain for Cavalier. Have they did for lose that game, but Waterhouse they drew again at home. The bad run of form at home continue at Jerusalem. Late equalizer by the left back Navarro Blair in that game. You will say Mobi got opportunity, but after that they didn't really do much in the game after the Lucas Lima goal in the 78th minute, and from the last quarter of the game, Waterhouse continued to dominate the game, got opportunities, but the Mobi goalkeeper was such a brilliant keeper on the day, and Chapelton Maroon beat Dumbo Olin. Look, Dumbo Olin now it's 8 games without a win. They close to to equal their worst run of the season, which it was from match day 11 to match day 20, where they went on a 10-game winless run. Chapelton Maroon now is 4 points away from the relegation drop. More Lions will be in big trouble. So that's it for me with JPL in 5. Thanks for watching. See you guys tomorrow early in the morning doing a full JPL discussion, talking about the relegation, talking about Veer, and also talking about the top 3 teams in the league. And I will see you guys. Thanks for watching Nicardo Media House. This is the Morning Sada Extra. See you guys tomorrow again with the Morning Sada 8 a.m. sharp. Ciao people, are over.